So this happened about 14 years ago, but someone just said something that made me remember. I really hope this isn't against the rules. I grew up in a really secluded area of Scotland, so I didn't really come across many people. Before I moved to England I was getting a train to school by myself for the first time without my mum, and a really small man walked past me and went to the ticket booth, and I don't know what came over me. I was about a meter tall at the time and he was even smaller than me, but he was clearly an adult and I couldn't believe my eyes, he was so small. And my mum wasn't here to see. So I picked him up and started to run home. I was quite used to carrying stray sheep under my arm and carried this clearly angry man about half a mile until I got home. And my mum was mortified. She apologized a lot to the man and paid for a taxi to get him to work on time. He was shaken, but he laughed it off awkwardly and left. My mum had to then explain dwarfism to me and didn't let me go to school alone for another 6 months. I was diagnosed with autism 8 years later and people were shocked. TL. Doctor saw a man with dwarfism for the first time and took him home to my mortified mum. My wife and I bought our first house today. We have been blessed to secure well-paying jobs that allowed us to purchase an upper middle class home in the eastern Tennessee area. This morning we closed on our new home. The house is still under construction. We decided to drive over and walk through the house and check the builder's progress. While we were walking through, I noticed the neighbor across the street kept peeking out his window at us. We would wave and smile and he would ignore us and close his blinds. As we were getting in the truck to leave, he came running out of his house yelling for us to stop. I asked him if there was a problem. He said, "Yes, I don't know why you're in our neighborhood, but we don't take kindly to thieves and criminals. The police are on the way." I explained to him that we just bought the house. Even pointed at the fresh sold sign. He responded that people like us couldn't afford houses here and that we could save our lives for the police. Around this time the police show up and separate us. My wife and I were immediately cuffed and detained while he was free to run around and explain that I didn't belong here. About 10 minutes later the builder showed up and explained the entire situation to the cops and we were good to go. As we were leaving my new neighbor flicked me off and yelled "Duck you." So long story short, I have a racist neighbor. TL. Doctor, a young black couple bought a house in a nice neighborhood and our new neighbor did not like that. Edit. To put some concerns to rest, I have no post history because I deleted it. I had a couple of posts and comments about considering divorce, marriage problems, and was receiving a lot of nasty DMs about abandoning my family and all kinds of other nonsense. Thank you for the outpouring of love, everyone. This has really helped to calm my wife and I down, so following your advice I called my lender to see if we could back out of our loan. She said we could not. It would be incredibly difficult. After a lot of self-reflection and panic, honestly, we chose to call our builder and see if he could get us the neighbor's number. I'm planning on calling tomorrow and trying to bury the hatchet. The wife is baking cookies in our apartment right now to give the neighbors. We really want to believe this was a misunderstanding and we just got off on the wrong foot. Lastly, I'm definitely getting a security system and we already own plenty of guns. First of all, my cat is a bastard, always has been, always will be. Found the wee poop at a rescue, and as soon as he saw me through the cage bars, he screamed at me until I took him home. He's a nervous cat. 2. Always jumping at noises. Anyway, my partner and I are moving, so the cat's been on edge all week. Sometimes he likes a bit of a snuggle, so I picked him up and cradled him as soon as I did. However, my partner let out an almighty ill-timed sneeze. Startled, the cat launched himself off of my chest, using his needly claws to propel himself. I felt a sharp pain and tugged off my shirt to see that one of his claws had sank straight into my left nipple, right in the middle like a bullseye. It immediately started gushing blood, like I was trying to breastfeed the ducking antichrist or some poop. Now it's swollen like a cranberry on my titty and the cat isn't even sorry. TL. Doctor, partner sneezed, got kitty titted. Edit. Here, have some cat tax of the wee poop himself. https://unga.com/a/smpppz5n. Okay, I've 27F been on Reddit for about 2 years and I've always known there was NSFW content, but I never really questioned Why I didn't see any? Maybe I followed wholesome subreddits, or the people on Reddit were just a lot more wholesome than I thought. I was having a conversation with a user whose profile pic said NSFW, and I just thought that was kinda weird who would just have a profile picture like that. So I clicked the profile picture and Reddit directed me to my settings to turn on NSFW to view the content. I toggled it on and now my feed is filled with NSFW posts. I don't really follow explicit subreddits or anything, so I'm kinda just stunned how sheltered I was until now. My husband is laughing at me because of how shocked I'm. This is a more explicit world than I thought. TL. Doctor, I found the NSFW button and now my Reddit feed is filled with NSFW content. So this has been an ongoing foo, but I only noticed today. I work on a military base and there are gas stations on all bases. Well, I have been getting gas at a specific gas station for about 2 months now. The first time I went there, I checked my bank account and it only charged $1. Great, I was dangerously low on gas and money and had only put about $15 in my tank. I thought I was getting some kind of gift from the gods for not kicking puppies. I went there a couple weeks later and sure enough the same thing. Awesome. I think I'm getting a full tank of gas for $1. This was extremely helpful in my opinion as money is a little tight right now. Turns out, gas stations on post will take out $1 as a pending payment type thing, then a couple days later they will take out the rest of this. I did not know this until today when I look at my bank account and I'm minus $12. TL. Doctor, I thought I was getting essentially free gas. I was not. Bank account went in the negative. Earlier today I decided to take my dog out for a walk and check out the storm damage on my block from that derecho that hit the Midwest. While being the nosy neighbor I am, my dog did what dogs do and dropped a load. I may be nosy, but I'm not that much of an a-hole, so I bag it and carry on. I get back to my house and I didn't feel like going in the back gate where the bin is, so I figure, why not just toss it there, then pick it up once my dog is back inside. This is where I underestimated my slinging ability and yeeted that poop bag onto my lower roof. Luckily, I bought a ladder a few months back and was able to, very shamefully, climb and retrieve the bag. Next time I'll just aim at the house itself. TL. Doctor, lazy genius backfired and I had to use ladder to get doggy bag off of my roof. At the moment in England it is hot, like unbearably hot, so me and my partner decided to go to the cinema to take advantage of the aircon that is provided. Due to COVID-19 you are required to wear a mask from the moment you walk in the cinema door. Through the hallways and screen you have to wear a mask. The only time you can remove your mask is to eat/drink whilst watching the movie. Before the movie started we decided to cool ourselves further. We should get ice cream. I eagerly got some Mississippi mud pie chocolate ice cream and without thinking, shoved it straight towards my mouth and the sweet chocolate ice cream bliss was now all over my mask, making it look like my face was covered in poop. Due to being the only mask I had on me at the time, I had to spend the next few hours looking like this, causing some very strange looks. TL. Drive went to the cinema, got chocolate ice cream forgetting I was wearing a mask, and ended up looking like I had poop on my face for the rest of the evening. This happened back in February before the pandemic became as big a problem anyway. I was overdue for my dental checkup and finally decided to get my lazy ass to the dentist, so I go. Everything's fine. I get called back and I'm told to sit down and wait for the dentist while the assistant cleans my teeth as she's finishing up. The dentist comes in early. He takes a peek and tells the assistant to suction the water out, but my dumbass thought he was telling me to suck his finger, so I did. *very thoroughly. He looks at me disgustedly and shocked for a minute, then he says, "Thank God you just had your mouth cleaned," and chuckles. The assistant still is a bit awkward around me. TL. Doctor, I thought my dentist told me to suck his finger when he just wanted the water out. Edit. Spelling is more difficult than it seems. So I'm studying abroad and my parents are in my home country. They are the paranoid, like super Asian parents. Especially my mom. She won't even let me go to Target sometimes, and even if I really need to go, she will ask me to directly shower, wash my hair and wash my clothes after. Yes, she is that paranoid. She is also the type of parents who is very anti-smoking and all that sort of stuffs. even just vape the typical hardcore Asian parents. Don't mean to stereotype, but I don't know how I can explain this more accurately. I'm at a legal age to smoke, but I don't smoke. Few weeks ago my BF and I went to go buy puff bars. It was intriguing because they have so many flavors. I decided to buy one and try since I never smoked before. After smoking it for a day I can feel my throat starting to ache. The next day I have sore throat. This was like 2 days ago today. I told my mom that I have sore throat. She started to rant that I go out too often and that I'm not aware of the coronavirus. She called me and explained to me how dangerous coronavirus is, even though I'm still young and have a good immune system. Well, I was fed up because honestly I know how dangerous coronavirus is, but she shouldn't be that paranoid. One of her friend died of COVID few weeks ago. That's probably why I was annoyed that she directly assumed it's because I go out often, which technically she assumed I got COVID. Then I accidentally said achilles because I vape yesterday. Well, you know what happens next. Another series of ranting. Don't wanna type them all cause it will be too long. That was how TIFU TL. Doctor told my mom I have sore throat and she starting ranting and assumed I have COVID. Edit. Since many PPL thought by going out means going to parties or bars, I'm making a clarification that by going out I mean buying groceries. Sometimes I go to Target or Whole Foods. Sometimes I also buy outside food for to go, which means I eat at home. My bathroom has a sloping roof and a window in it. When I open the window I can usually see blurred people in the building on the other side of the road, but I never really cared since I thought, well, if I see them blurred they probably can't see me. So a month ago I finally went to an optician because I had issues in university to read the presentation in front when I was sitting too far away. As you probably already can tell, this morning when I went into the bathroom with glasses for once, I could see my neighbors sitting out on their balcony pretty clearly. I realized that all these years I was walking around naked for my neighbors to see. And it got even better. A few minutes later I actually could see a neighbor walking around naked because he left his lights on and the sun was not fully up yet, so I'm pretty sure that someone probably has seen me as well. TL. Doctor, didn't close bathroom window for years because I thought I'm too far away to be seen. Turns out I'm short-sighted. M14. My mom was born in poverty in Canada, and so was I. We moved to America when I was 10 and my mother got a job and was able to break the poverty cycle. We moved into a nice neighborhood and guess what? Once people knew we were Asian our house got vandalized by saying, "Get your kind out of here. You are what makes America poopty. You brought the Chinese virus." It hurts me knowing my mother. My abused, neglected, poor mother who brought herself and 3 children out of a poop show and made a different life for us just to be shut down because station. We got invited to eat dinner at our neighbors, which they are really nice and I adore them, is a white elderly couple with a 20-year-old black son who takes care of them. They explained how they were hated on for being white and adopting a different race child in need. The next day we got a knock on our door explaining they caught the people who did it and they were arrested. Turns out they were planning on setting our house on fire while we were asleep. 2 14-year-olds and an 8-year-old would been burned to death because we are Asian. I was walking my dog when some kids went and started to tease me. They noticed my Canadian accent and they started to say Canadians ruined this country. TL. Doctor, TIFU because we moved into a neighborhood full of racist raspberry and were planned to be fine murdered because of it. Context. My parents have 7 5-gallon water jugs, 18.9 liter, in the corner of the living room. I'm on mobile, so I'll try to keep short. Exude any typos please. So today started a pretty ordinary day. I was sitting on the couch watching Netflix, living the life. Now I was getting pretty hungry, decided to go scour the pantry for some snacks. This is where the duck up begins. My dog, who is feeling very playful lately, decided to leave out his bowl in the intersection of the jugs in the corner, the living room and the kitchen, unknown to me. So I walk forwards the kitchen and lo and behold I step on it, roll my ankle, take step back, trip and fall ass first on one of the jugs. I let out a yelp of pain as the throat of the jug goes into my asshole about an inch. Luckily my pants stopped it from going any deeper. So here I'm sitting with an asshole sorer than when my uncle decided it was Shrexy time typing this out on my iPad, lying on my bed nursing both my sore ass and my rolled ankle TL. Doctor tripping over my dog's toy and getting violated by my parents' water jugs. So my mom and I have been searching for a corgi puppy for a while now. We ended up getting scammed out of some money last week because I'm a greater dumbass that didn't see how sketchy the guy was, but it was a lesson that needed to be learned anyways. I contacted one of my best friends since her stepsister has a couple corgis of her own, and I asked where she got them from, and she tells me that Facebook has pages where people can post available puppies yada yada. I start looking into these Facebook pages and there's a lot of great communities where breeders post stuff and a lot of information. I was clicking through the recommended groups and see this one page claiming they have corgis puppies for sale in my home state. Great. I messaged the group asking if they still have them and they told me not in my state anymore, but a neighboring state. Fine by me. It was only a 6-hour drive and I have the time. I'd get an address and ask if I can pay in cash. They say yes, that sounds great. I get some more photos and videos from them. This seems like a legit person. The only thing I didn't ask for was to FaceTime them. BC I thought that the fact that they had videos was good by me. So my mom and I drive the 6 hours to the neighboring state and stay in the hotel for the night. On the way I messaged the group again asking for a name and that we would be at the house the next day around 10 AM. No response. We wake up excited to go grab this new puppy and we get to the house and I knock. A dude opens up the door and I'm like, hey, I'm here to pick up the corgi puppy. Then he goes, oh poop, I have this insane neighbor who does this poop all the time. He then explains to me that the neighbor moved in about a year ago and he just hates this man that I'm talking to. Like the neighbor would shout pervy stuff at this guy's mom. And when he would be like stop, he would pull a gun out on him. He's broken windows and ducked with his septic tank. He constantly steals this man's Amazon packages and just a ton of random poop. He had gotten a restraining order against the neighbor this past March, but it just expired and now he has a huge court case going on against the neighbor. He asked if I could send him the screenshots of our texts to use as evidence in the case and if I could film a testimony for the case. I did because why not? Then he asks me if I could report this to the sheriff's office, but I told him I'd rather not because I want to just drive home, and he said he would do it for me. I head back to the car and had to drive 6 hours back home without a puppy and now I'm a witness. TL. Doctor went to pick up a puppy 6 hours away and it ended up being a scam, and the man that lived at the address I was sent to ask me to testify for a big court case against his insane neighbor.